My friends, well, you might say they're a little different. We know how to have a good time, sure, but together, what we get is beyond just that. Los Linderos is the tequila that fits, that works for those times we have. The times that take fun and friendship and go beyond. Give it a try. Los Linderos Tequila. I keep an eye out for that sculpted bottle. It's as beautiful on the outside as on the inside. Kinda like my friends. Los Linderos Tequila. When it's time to go beyond.
This is an Extra 106.3 podcast. To hear more live and local content like this, tune into 106.3 FM or download the Extra 106.3 app. Extra 106.3 and a Second Chance Bail Bonds are here to back your blue. Back Your Blue highlights special initiatives, criminal justice programs, and community events aimed at keeping our communities safer. Join a Second Chance Bail Bond CEO Daniel Matalon and host Tug Coward to learn some good news about and from the law enforcement and justice communities. Now it's time to back your blue on Extra 106.3 FM and the Extra 106.3 app.
Welcome to Back Your Blue with Daniel Matalon of A Second Chance Bail Bonds and A Second Chance Monitoring. Today on the show, we have the folks from the Roswell Police Department, Community Relations Officer Mark Cabral and Officer Victor Aguirre. And both of them are here to discuss Roswell's Citizens Police Academy. Did you even know that they did this, Daniel?
No, I did not. And I've done a couple police citizens academies before, but in the bigger county ones, but never. No, I did not know that.
I had no idea, and I live in Alpharetta, just down the road from y'all. So the fact that I didn't know it means there's probably other people. So it's great that you're here because we need to let people know about what you're doing and the importance behind it. We'll start with Officer Mark Cabral. Moved from El Paso to Roswell, started his law enforcement career at the Roswell Police Department in 2001, worked the Uniform Patrol Division for 6 years, assigned to the overnight shift. During his time, became a master police officer and a field training officer for the department. In 2007, transferred to the Traffic Enforcement Unit, where he continued his training in including advanced traffic laws and accident reconstruction. That seems like it'd be challenging, that accident reconstruction thing.
It's a little bit of math.
Yeah.
You kind of leave high school or maybe even college and say,
yeah, I'm never going to use this.
Right.
Ever.
I'm going to go through this math and never use it again. And yes, it's...
And then all of a sudden it popped back up on you.
Physics and calculus right all over again.
It just seems like you're doing the math around it too, but then you've got all the stories that go along with it, right?
Everybody's interviewing. And,
the perspectives are different from everybody that's in the accident.
Right. The investigation part, which is what a detective does, and then you add in the calculations and things like that from what a traffic officer does.
Man, I tell you, I do not envy that because it seems like it would be challenging, and then somebody's going to be mad at the end of the day. Right, every time, right? Somebody's going to be upset.
Yeah.
Also trained to become a motorcycle officer for the traffic unit 2013. Moved to criminal investigations where you served as a detective of persons crimes. That seems like a heavy job, too.
That one it's anything major crimes against people typically.
Yeah.
It can get burdening, but the rewards are pretty great.
I would imagine so. When you finally get to the point where you figured out what happened,
right,
and deliver justice and help somebody that's been wronged.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, I can see that. You got training in homicide investigation and interview techniques. Volunteered for community relations events, programs, speaking on behalf of the department and the units about working there, doing educational functions and community-related topics. We're in the traffic unit and then transferred to the community relations unit, and that's where you currently are.
That's correct.
All right, right on. And then Officer Aguirre. 2019, City of Smyrna. So you started right around the corner from where we are now.
Yes, sir. Yeah, right around here. So these are my stomping grounds when I grew up. I grew up right here. And
cut
I worked
your teeth over here.
Yes, so I learned a lot, and I was able to take it to where I am now.
I love it. You were in the Uniform Patrol Division there, first-year Patrol Division officer. You were Rookie of the Year. And as we're at the ballpark, that is a big, big award.
Yes, definitely. So I was surprised.
You and Ronald Acuna.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So definitely we strive. I put myself to strive for the best that I can do and accomplish things. So when I was awarded this award, I was like, well, I'm doing my job day in, day out. So you don't expect to be, rewarded, a pat on the back. It's just part of your job. So when I was just able to see that people were looking at my work ethic and saying, this guy's on it. Yeah. So it was great to see, the Department of City of Smyrna just.
I wish everybody did that. Had that attitude.
Yeah, no, for sure. I'm sure it's few and far between, but it is. It sets you apart, and that's why you're doing what you do. And we're honored to have you here on the show. But more importantly, we're so delighted that you work on behalf of the folks of the city of Roswell, man. You're doing good work there, and we'll point it out. We don't have any awards. Maybe we need to get some. Melinda, can we work on that? Maybe we'll get some blue ribbons or something, I never even got a blue ribbon on field day in high school. So anybody that's getting awards, I'm a fan of because I've never gotten one. But you did the advanced certificate in field training. You were assigned to Smyrna Community Relations, which is really probably given you a step up to what you're doing now with the police academy.
Correct. So I was able to interact just like Officer Cabral. He was able to interact with the city of Roswell before stepping into that unit and just assisting mainly there in the city of Smyrna, communicating to the Hispanic population. Mm-hmm. Obviously, there's a big gap between police officers and the Hispanic population just based on what we see on the news and what we perceive by word of mouth instead of firsthand knowledge.
Yeah.
So we need people to obviously, especially Hispanic officers, to step up and be that middle ground for the community and for law enforcement agencies.
So this is probably not a question that I thought we would get to, but how do we reach out to folks that want to be an officer, want to be one of those folks that you're talking about? The biggest thing
for example, for my case, I'm the only officer in my whole family. My family came from Mexico, so I never had anybody teach me or show me, hey, this is a job opportunity for you. So I like to encourage any youth that obviously first be bilingual. Mm-hmm. Don't lose the Spanish, man, because it's really important. Second of all, always aspire to do something that your parents never were. My dad works construction, so my mind growing up was like, I'm gonna work construction. My dad was like, nope, I want to see you do something that I know I don't
God
do.
Bless him.
So he pushed me a little bit more, and instead of taking the easy way, for me would have been construction. So, but a lot of times just engaging with these youth, young adults, and saying, hey, you can do this. I do it. You see me day in, engaging. It's a fun job, so don't let people, deter you from what you see on the news.
Yeah,
and
the media's. Yeah.
I
work in the media, and I would say the media.
But a lot of times, it's a very rewarding job, and you day in, day out. Like I said, I didn't get I like to tell them about the Rookie of the Year award. I didn't get it just by showing up 12 hours and and parking in the parking lot.
It's above and beyond.
Yeah, it's above and beyond, and you don't have to wait for rewards. At the end of the day, the rewards come when they come, and people are looking.
That's awesome, man. I love it. And your dad and my dad had similar, I think, dreams for their sons. I remember telling my dad when I was going to go in the Navy, and he was super proud of me. It never even crossed his mind, like it was a surprise to him when I said I've joined the Navy, and he was like, "Hang on, what?" And super proud, but it just never occurred to him that I was going to do something different than working carpet mills up in Northwest Georgia, where there's nothing in the world wrong with that. It just wasn't my path, much like with yours, with construction. Became an officer in Roswell in 2023, assigned to the Uniform Patrol Division. Officer, you were open to community relations in that unit, transferred over in 2024, and moving to Georgia in 1993. You got your bachelor's degree in criminal justice at Kennesaw State. Go Owls!
Yes, sir.
Do you get back over there, watch some games occasionally?
My wife works there.
Okay. What does she do?
She's a victim advocate. So we both went to KSU, and now we both go out there. And she's a part of a organization for Latino young adults, alumni.
I love it.
So I try to be out there. I went to their first football game.
All right.
So I remember that. That was pretty exciting.
The first ever. A few years ago.
Yeah, a few ever. So we were out there.
Which they won, if I'm not mistaken.
They won.
There we go. There we go. Owls. I love it. So we were talking about something that maybe you have not even considered listening right now. How can you attend a police academy? Because not every municipality has citizen police academies. And I've learned that you don't even have to necessarily live in Roswell to go to the Roswell Citizens Police Academy.
Yeah, correct. So, Officer Mark, if you want to hit on that.
Sure, yeah. So what we do is we have 2 programs throughout the year. in English and then one in Spanish. So we typically take almost anyone. We do reserve the first few slots.
Yeah, for folks that live in Roswell, I'm sure. Makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
And definitely for the business owners that do work in Roswell. But after that, if you've got an interest outside of Roswell, what it does is it focuses on Roswell. So we do encourage people in their communities to look for their police departments because you get a better look at what your police department is doing. But yeah, we will take, especially for our Spanish-speaking community, we'd like to take a lot more from outside because we want to spread the outreach that we do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, I think it's great. I mean, because I've heard of ride-along programs, and because I live in Alpharetta, just up the street from y'all. Like I said, I've heard of them doing ride-along programs, but I don't know that they do a Citizens Police Academy. And y'all said that because I'm a neighboring city, if there's room, that I could sit in with y'all.
Sure. Yeah.
Potentially.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a website? What do I do?
You can go on our police website or email us at policecru@roswellgov.com. That's police, POLICECRU @roswellgov.com.
There you go.
And any one of us will get back to you and work you through the process.
Daniel, this may be something we need to do. Have you ever done a police academy before?
I have. No,
you have?
I've done the first one I ever did.
I feel
was
left out. I've
probably
never done one.
I did Fulton County Sheriff's Office probably 13 years ago.
Okay.
Or 12 years ago. And I would encourage people that if you're in Roswell to try to be a part of this because I think prior to going into the Citizens Academy, then going through it, the knowledge, just understanding the mechanics and kind of
why people do what they do,
why people do what they do, and it gives you kind of insight to, like you said, in your community. But they're extremely valuable, and I enjoyed. I've done 2 of them now. I think they're great. I think they're awesome. I think it's great that the police department opens up to the community and allows them to kind of come in and see what's going on.
Relationship building. That's what the officers were talking about.
Yeah, it's very valuable.
No, I think it's terrific as well. Now, do you get a T-shirt like you do when you run the bases on Sunday here at the Braves game?
Actually, you get a polo.
Oh, even better. Holy cow.
Right.
I'm like reducing us down to T-shirts. We're getting nice polos. I love it, dude. Roswell knows how to do it.
Yeah.
What is it?
Yeah, you get some other swag, too.
What else? Dish?
They're called challenge coins. You know what those are?
Oh, of course, yeah. Absolutely.
Things like that, just cups and just stuff like that. It's just to keep everyone engaged and, with the CPA program. And, yeah, we stay in contact with all of them. There's an opportunity to become a volunteer after that. And it's just a great program and it definitely gives the average citizen a chance to get to know the command staff, the chief, ask those questions that, you hear on social media, you hear on mainstream media, but you don't really know for sure.
Right.
You have that chance to interact with officers, the chief, like I said, and know the truth. And, some are hard questions, which we'll, we
open to, I'm sure.
Absolutely. We won't shy away from those.
Right. Oh, I love it.
It's that chance.
Well, and I think the cost also which was a big thing for me that I paid attention to, was the financial side of it, right? So they kind of tipped us in a little bit to understand what the expense was of what these police departments, what it costs to run. And then you realize, understaffed, overworked, all the things that you hear about, it actually unfolds in front of you, and you kind of it gives you good perspective, I think.
I love that. We'll continue next on Back Your Blue when we talk about the Roswell Police Departments, Roswell Citizen Police Academy with Officer Cabral and Officer Aguirre. Next on Back Your Blue on Extra 106.3.
My friends, well, you might say they're a little different. We know how to have a good time, sure, but together, what we get is beyond just that. Los Landeros is the tequila that fits, that works for those times we have. The times that take fun and friendship and go beyond. Give it a try. Los Landeros Tequila. I keep an eye out for that sculpted bottle. It's as beautiful on the outside as on the inside. Kinda like my friends. Los Landeros Tequila. When it's time to go beyond.
This is Jonathan Geller at D. Geller & Son Jewelers, where this weekend we're inviting you to our Takori holiday event, where you can shop an extended collection of engagement rings, wedding bands, and new fashion jewelry, all handcrafted in the USA. They're fully customizable, so you can try on all your options and have your dream ring handcrafted in time for a holiday proposal. You can get up to 24 months 0% APR financing or up to $1,000 back in Amex gift cards. Only at D. Geller & Son in Atlanta, Kennesaw, and Sandy Springs. RSVP online at dgeller.com.
This is Back Your Blue, presented by A Second Chance Bail Bonds, live on Extra 106.3 FM and streaming for free anytime on the Extra 106.3 app.
Welcome back to Back Your Blue on Extra 106.3 with Daniel Madelon. He is the CEO of A Second Chance Bail Bonds and A Second Chance Monitoring. How did you get hooked up with going to the police academy that you did?
So it was when Sheriff Ted Jackson was elected to Fulton County Sheriff, they had reached out and they had asked if I had any interest, obviously as a business owner in the community, and I took the opportunity. And I mean, it's a lengthy course. Theirs was over like an 8-week period, I want to say, and each week focused on a different topic. So it is a commitment, but what an awesome experience.
Yeah, talking to Officer Cabral and Aguirre from the Roswell Police Department. How long is the Citizen Police Academy?
So our Citizen Police Academy is 10 weeks long. Just like they mentioned before, like each week is something different. So the first week, obviously it is a commitment, and it does take, people to get after work, pick up their kids, get to our police department. The first week is welcoming night. So we meet our command staff. Just an overview of what OPS, which is Office of Professional Standards as well. So they talk about a little bit about investigations of what they do internally, kind of like the overview, the budget, a little bit of all that. The second week we do our E911 center, which is our 911 dispatchers. They get a whole tour of the center as well. Alongside, they get the opportunity to engage in a sit along with a 911 dispatcher throughout the program. So we allow all of our participants to sign up and take up the 4-hour time slot and sit there. We also have a night where UPD with our Uniform Patrol Division and the SWAT Division come out there and give you a little about what they do.
That seems like that's probably the most interesting, I would imagine, right? Immediately, because anytime you hear SWAT, you think, man, this is a big deal. There's trucks coming out. There's equipment coming out. They make TV shows about it. I mean, that seems like it, when you go through the list so far, that's the one that jumps out at me.
Yeah, obviously, people that show SWAT alone.
Yeah.
You just start seeing explosion after explosion. So now you get to see firsthand the gear that they use. I know we're pretty good about showing off our BAT, which is a armored vehicle. Everything of that stuff.
A BAT?
Yeah.
B-A-T?
Yes, a BAT. So I know Officer Cabral has a little bit more about that.
The acronym, what's the acronym stand for? It's just almost like a tank.
Okay,
literally. So yeah, we bring it and people can do, crawl through it, take pictures and things like that.
That's so cool.
And so you do get to see all this equipment and things that, again, the average citizen won't be able to see.
Yeah, just you wouldn't see this every day.
Right.
It's not like they're just inviting you over to the police, but hey, come check out the Batman.
Right. And there's no secrets to it. It's just again.
Amazing. It's just awesome. There's no secrets. It's really just amazing. Yeah. That's so good.
Yeah. So what's pretty neat about our session is we'll go from 6:30 to 9:30. We're also lucky enough to feed the people, our participants.
Count me in for that. I mean, that's a reason to sign up in and of itself, right there.
So all along the time alone that you have, man, I haven't had dinner. You get there, we'll do a little session, and then you get to indulge in some great food.
That's awesome.
A lot of it we buy it from locally, so we get to out show our local restaurants and say,
yeah, sure,
today's meal was brought to you by this.
Great food in Roswell.
Yeah, absolutely, man. There's no shortage of great food in Roswell. Holy cow! What's next?
So we also do our traffic unit. So Officer Mark, his prior unit, they're obviously they come out and do a presentation on that, and our DUI night. A DUI officer who comes out tells everybody how he does his investigations, and not just how people are like, oh, you've been drinking, that's it. No, he goes thorough on the investigation and the process.
Did they ever let you wear those glasses where the ones that they put on you when it's supposed to simulate being intoxicated?
Yeah.
I've never put those on, but I hear like it's impossible to walk with them because
it's pretty disorienting.
Yeah, I can imagine so. Goodness gracious, that's
Yes.
amazing.
Yeah, and then we have our special investigations section. Just more people who go undercover, and our canine unit as well comes out and does a showing, and we keep on going with that. So
Dude, I gotta tell you, that's the next one, right? The K9, because everybody loves the dogs. They got
Who
those
doesn't
cool.
like a dog?
Yeah, that's right. Hey, yeah, there's something wrong with you
They're
if
the
you don't
star
like
of the
dogs.
show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah, I got to tell you, man, I think I would flip flop. I'd put the dogs first. You know what
A
I
lot
mean?
of
That's the
people
way to.
do. A lot of people do.
Yeah, absolutely. They got those cool vests, and they, and they're so well trained. Like I have a dog at home, dumb as a bag of hammers, and then y'all have those really really smart canines that just act on commands. My dog wouldn't pay attention to me to save its life. Y'all got well trained animals, and they do everything they're supposed to do. That's so awesome, and I know people are really thrilled. Like I want to reorder mine. SWAT moves down after now that we know the dogs can
Yeah,
out
there's
there.
a full demonstration they do, and yeah, you can video it again.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's a great chance to meet the dogs, meet the handlers, and ask them questions like how do you get them to do this and all that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. And
That's
the
so cool.
demonstration alone is just amazing.
Do y'all work with the dogs, either of you?
so
A little bit?
We
In our-
work with one
Yeah.
with the EOD dog, the explosive ordnance
Yeah.
detection dog.
Yeah.
And he's a fantastic dog, and
I'm sure.
he also goes out in the community, and the kids love him. And so we do take the dog out with us all over the place. Of course, the dog is so hyper focused on his handler, we don't get as much attention
That's right,
as we would like.
I can totally see it. Have y'all ever seen this video? It's a little bit off the subject, but kind of in the same vein. There's a video I've seen of, it was, we'll say Army, just because I can't remember, and it was an Army guy, and he had his dog, his canine with him, right? And the dog is basically walking backwards between his legs.
Oh, yeah.
To guard his
seen it.
back, right?
I've seen it, yeah.
It was unbelievable. I think I watched that thing a dozen times because I was trying to wrap my head around how this dog is smart enough to walk backwards and pay attention. I can't walk backwards without falling down, and this dog's like doing multiple tasks.
They're amazing animals.
They are. They're
Yeah.
so cool. And then y'all have one on staff, and all part of the Roswell Citizens Police Academy. Continue on. I didn't mean to get us sidetracked on the dogs, but I love dogs.
No, you're good. And then after that, the weeks obviously is like the halfway session. So then we go to our training unit. So our training division just talks about how many hours each officer is trained. And going back to how you're saying the training of a canine alone, how long does that take? And how each officer should not, not reprimanded from not taking a training. Like in the city of Roswell, we're blessed to be able to take as much training as we want, because obviously we want better trained officers.
Sure.
And at least the community sees that the money that the city pays in salaries and whatnot does go into a well-trained officer, and not just somebody who just comes over and just partakes and just patrol regularly.
Which is what you brought up, Daniel, just being able to see that.
Oh, yeah. Well, and it's like, sometimes, election times around, obviously, you get these questions where it's like, oh, they need funding for XYZ. Well, it's much easier to be like, oh, absolutely, if you have some sort of insider perspective into it, because you'll quickly realize that they don't have enough money. I mean, there always could be more, right, for these police departments and stuff like that. And it's not just because, oh, we want to give them more money. It's because there's a purpose.
Yeah, it's so fascinating, and so I encourage you to reach out and do this. Continue on, though.
Yeah, but so after that, we do our community relations night, which is a part of Officer Cabral and myself, our unit. So we talk about how we engage with the community and our organization that we have, Friends of Roswell Police, how they help us out in funding these operations as well. So they're a nonprofit, and they also assist us in giving back. For example, we have one coming up, an event called Holiday Heroes here in December, and you want to touch base on that one?
Yeah, this is where our foundation, Friends of Roswell Police, and our department get together, and it's basically a shop with a cop style event.
Oh, I love that.
And we'll take out families and shop with them at a local Walmart and give them, hopefully, a day they'll never forget,
Sure.
And just it's just so great to have,
Yes, sir.
to be able to give that back. And we can't do it without our foundation, who does do fundraising and provides financially for these families. And it's a wonderful event.
No, it sounds terrific. I just so admire, and you can see the passion that both of you have for the work that you do. And even though, and we talked about it early on and we've talked about it before, that law enforcement has gotten such a black eye for no reason that I can tell whatsoever. And y'all are doing the Lord's work by bucking that, whatever that silly narrative was, to really encourage people in your community. So I just applaud both of you for doing the work that you're doing and helping so many people, whether at the holidays or even just at the corner when they've been in a fender bender. And just having people like you to be able to do that has to be so encouraging for the folks in Roswell, Georgia. So just know, if you're listening and you live in Roswell or near Roswell, that you have the finest folks that are looking out for your community there. So back to the to the communities, the
program.
The program, yeah.
We'll go to the program.
The Citizen Police Academy.
The next part will be like the crime scene investigation. So our crime scene unit comes out and they'll do a display of what they do, and also even allow the participant to check out their lab. So they don't have cheap stuff in there.
I would
really
imagine
expensive
not.
stuff.
Yeah,
really expensive stuff that you wouldn't even think about, like extracting blood, for example, off a rock. I didn't know that was possible. So
yeah, that's insanity.
So there's a machine that does that. So it's like, I was like,
who came up with that plan? Like, who was like, I got this idea. I think we can get the blood off of a rock. I mean, who thinks like? I just don't think in those ways. There's really smart people that like. There's a reason we should be doing this, and clearly it's been put to use in Roswell.
Yeah, so we were able to, I'm sure Officer Cabral was around since I just got to the city of Roswell, but they've figured out cold cases. With using this technology, so that's pretty impressive. You know what I mean? And people get to see the machine firsthand and say, "Wow, this is that machine.
This is what the money's being spent on."
And then obviously our last group is the Criminal Investigations Division, which is our detectives. So they're able to work a whole case and go piece by piece with a detective as a group, and then provide hopefully figure it out on their own.
Yeah.
So it's challenging as well. So they're not just listening; they're also participating and engaging in the event.
Closest I've been to this is like the escape room.
Oh, you know what I mean? And people get stressed out there, huh?
Yeah, I never got out. I ran out of time. They're like, get out of here.
What was it growing up, that little, at the fair, the double-sided mirrors?
Yes.
I would freak out.
Yes.
I would go in there, hit the mirror. I'm like, my God.
So,
Mom.
Me too. And the other one, since we're in this time of year with like the corn mazes.
Oh, yeah, the corn mazes.
I've never once in my entire life gotten through a corn maze. I always have to walk back out to the front because I never can find my way out.
That's probably a basic one. I've been to a 100 corn maze. That's
my goodness.
At night.
Yeah. They would never even allow me in there. They would see me coming like, no. We're not wasting our time.
The map and the clues because, you need help getting
there. Yeah. I did. I had the map and the clues, too. It didn't help me.
And then just to finalize that week, we also have a graduation ceremony that
cool.
the chief,
right.
the command staff comes out. They're able to participate in a Jeopardy game. And then we'll divide the class into teams.
Okay.
And the winners get a nice little gift at the end.
I love it.
So, I mean, again, and they get to use all the information they obtained throughout the program, the 10-week session, and able to just regurgitate it onto a game.
I love it.
A game show. So we have one of our majors, Kaplan, that does he's the host. What's the host's name? I don't even know.
It's after Jeopardy.
Yeah.
So like Alex Trebek.
Yeah.
There we go.
Our very own Alex.
It's a spirited event too. It's because
they want to use
right?
that information that they've gained over 10 weeks.
Oh, yeah.
I'd want to use it too.
It's super fun, but it's a great way just to keep the class just as one big. We always say you come in as strangers, you leave as a family, and
that's great.
It's so fun to go throughout the course and go from week 1 to see what they're like at week 10.
That's so cool,
and especially at this game part because it's a great fun time.
No, it sounds like it, man. I can tell y'all do a great job, and as I said, you just tell the passion that you have. So, how long have y'all been doing the Citizen Police Academy, and why did you start it to begin with?
So it started back in 1993. The citizens wanted more engagement with the police department. So back then, this predates my employment and obviously all ours.
I wasn't even born.
Yeah.
So
just made everybody in the room feel real old.
So it was special back then. It's just evolved to where it is today.
Yes, sir.
And yeah, it started back in 1993 with the group that was back then. And, we were going over some of the archives, and it's kind of funny what they were able to do back then.
Versus now?
Yeah. They actually had participants live drinking to see the DUI.
Oh, wow, they didn't use the glasses. They're just giving you a bunch of booze and letting you walk around. I love it.
They selected the
Can we go back to that once? Maybe just once a year. I
It
kid
would
somewhat.
It would sound fun, right? Now there's all kinds of liability issues that
No, of course.
that we're held to.
Of course, yes. No, I completely understand. But yeah, that's so funny.
It's been going on for 30 plus years. We're like 31 years now.
That's amazing.
In the city of Roswell, and
who would have thought?
Yeah.
Yeah, and like I said, we live so close, and I had no idea that it even existed. So it's really impressive. Is this, do you feel like, as important for the officers that work there at Roswell as it is for the citizens that might go through it?
Yes, it's very important because, like you said, getting that firsthand knowledge, but also our officers are able to see that the citizens are interested in what we do. They're not just like, hey, there's a police officer right there just trying to get a speeding ticket. You don't know, like, hey, this is somebody here. They're doing their job, but it's very important for everybody. And kind of just to hit back on this, the whole program, we also do it in Spanish.
Yes.
So it's not just for English speakers.
Sure.
It's also for our Spanish listeners and our residents that speak Spanish. We have a whole translation kit.
That's great.
That the city, the police department purchased just so that we can have one translator and make this so well rounded, so that way nobody had a language barrier issue.
No, that's great.
There's one of me. I'm able to speak Spanish, but it's very tough to speak to 23 participants at one time to translate
all at once.
Yeah, all at once.
No,
So.
that's amazing. No, I think it's great.
I have a question. What's happening with the old Roswell jail, I guess, that used to be there?
The Roswell jail that used to that's been closed for several years now.
Right.
So it was transformed into office space.
Oh, okay.
So we've outgrown the original building.
Right.
And that happened to be utilized for office space for detectives, and that's where the crime lab is, that our CSI detectives actually opened their crime lab. So it's
the one that you get to learn about in the police academy.
To see and all that stuff.
So they used to go to, there was a Roswell jail, which I've dealt with years ago, obviously. And you actually used to bond out. You could bond out of the city of Roswell.
Right.
Okay.
Actually, they had a jail right down there.
These days you don't have to go to the jail to bond out?
Not to Roswell. Okay. Roswell City suspended that building from being a jail.
Okay.
And then now turned it into this. But it used to be, if you did get arrested on municipal offenses in the city of Roswell, you would go to Roswell PD. We would actually bond them out actually at the Roswell jail.
Okay.
Going back
is that common around the metro or no?
Yeah, like Smyrna has, where he was, Smyrna has their own city jail. Some of them have moved away from it and integrated it into the county, which kind of changes the whole process on how everything works. But and some have been great. Some of it, there's been a blend of response on it. But yeah, Roswell used to. I mean, I remember going over to Roswell all the time.
Sure. Yeah. From an officer standpoint, it was extremely convenient. I mean,
it would just drop
right there.
Right there.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Keep moving, right?
Well, going back to the police academy, there's a teen version of this too?
Yes. So we're lucky enough to have gotten a grant that allowed us to, purchase, shirts, a whole bunch of gear for these teens. It was our first one, so it was kind of, we had to put it together. So instead of 10 weeks, we knocked it down to 5 weeks. We were intended to have it during the summer, but it just something didn't correlate good. But we were able to make it work during the school, which can be fluctuating because sports, after school programs. But we had a good turnout, so we do the same thing, just break it down in 5 weeks. And we had like over 15 participants.
Wow, all right.
So it's still a pretty good number, and we cut it down, like I said, to an hour. Was it 2 hours?
Yeah, 2 hours.
2 hours.
And again, these teens aren't necessarily Roswell. They may go to school in Roswell.
Got it.
They may go to private school. They may be homeschooled.
Yeah, sure.
So, the program was great for anywhere between, our youngest was 13, but it's typically 14 to 18.
Did the kids that go through the teen police academy, do they typically have aspirations to be officers? Is that the draw, or is
some do?
Some of them,
some are just genuinely interested.
Yeah.
So they may not necessarily have law enforcement aspirations to go in their future, but a lot of them were just interested. It was kind of like a camp style.
Yeah.
So they could see what, and who knows, maybe after that.
That was going to be my next question.
How many parents trying to straighten out their kid?
Well, it could be that too. Yes, absolutely. Can you help us get this guy on the straight and narrow, because he is all sorts of crooked. But that's the thing I would ask is, how many do you think? I mean, not that you have a specific number. I guess I would just ask then, did you have kids at the end of it be like, you know what, I am kind of interested.
We know
in this.
We talked to a few that were looking for the future, and especially the older ones that are just about to graduate high school. There's at least one kid that is looking up, in certain areas. Being 18, he's got to work in a jail, maybe at a sheriff's office somewhere. before he can do actual police work.
Sure.
Yeah.
But the fact that the new avenue, especially with young folks who came up through the last few years and they've just heard all this negative stuff about police officers and law enforcement officers, and for them to see it up close and then to even go, you know what, this is something that I'm interested in. I think that is a winning recipe right there. You can't. There's just nothing better than that I can tell. What about some success stories about people being involved after their participation?
There's two pretty cool success stories that we've been a part of. Back in 2018, we had a young CPA participant come through. At 22, he was, just a nice kid that we don't know, where his interest was, but he was a participant. 3 years later, he was hired as a police officer.
Wow. Congratulations.
Yeah, so it was really neat to see that the person that probably the Citizens Police Academy had a positive effect on his...
Sounds like it.
Yeah, on his career path, and he's been a great officer ever since.
That's terrific.
And then recently, in 2023, we had a participant that went through, and she was kind of a graduating college senior, and just was taking the class. And we talked to her and said, we're having openings in our E911 dispatch center, and she applied during the class. Well, on graduation night or graduation day, she found out she got the job while she was graduating.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so you never know what comes out of these classes.
You're right.
With all these people that come through, and some CPA members have become part of our foundation, participants with our foundation, members on the board of our foundation. So we have a lot of positive continuation with these citizens or these participants in the program.
Yeah, Victor, I'm sure you've probably seen it up close too, right?
Correct.
Those positive stories.
Yeah, and obviously, just to add on what Officer Mark said, also after graduating, we allow our participants to be involved in our volunteer program. So it's not mandatory. I don't know if you're going to hit on that, but I'm just going to touch it right now. It's pretty much they get to volunteer, sign up, and any event that comes up, Holiday Heroes, Youth Day, anything that we have coming up, they're able to, go on a Sign Up Genius and sign up and show up and, give back to the community.
I love
especially. That. So it's not just the show. You go to our Citizens Police Academy and it's over.
Right.
And you get a cool polo and everything. No, it's beyond that. So again, like Mark said, you're able to get into the foundation that supports us and go into that role or as a volunteer.
Talk about the volunteer opportunities, because you hit a couple of them, but like what do you do in the volunteer role? Like, how do you help?
In a lot of the volunteer roles that we have, obviously helping hand is a helping hand no matter where you put them, and that's what's great about the program, that and the individuals that volunteer, they just show up and say, hey, put me where you need me. Mm-hmm. Whether it's giving candy, whether it's directing traffic, whether it's giving directions to people. So a lot of times, or even helping us set up. So we just recently had our trunk or treat at City Hall. So a lot of them showed up, helped us organize our police cars with our Halloween decor.
Decorations,
the
holiday, and all that,
Halloween decor, and just being there present in their CPA polo, so at least people can distinguish them, and we can say, they're here to help us. And officers, whenever we ran out of candy, for example, they would come up and give us reload us in the bucket, our little buckets we had. So
dude, I love it. Anytime you're volunteering and you're helping give back to your community, you're doing the right thing. We will continue with folks from the Roswell Police Department Community and Citizens Police Academy. We're talking to Officer Cabral and Officer Aguirre. Next on Extra 106.3, I want to ask about E911, because I've heard that said a few times, and I don't know what that is. I know what 911 is, but I'm not sure about E911. We'll answer that question next on Back Your Blue with Daniel Madelon of A Second Chance Bail Bonds and A Second Chance Monitoring on Extra 106.3.
Extra 106.3 and A Second Chance Bail Bonds are here to back your blue. Now back to the show on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Extra 106.3.
Welcome back. Final segment of Back Your Blue. My name is Tug Coward on Extra 106.3, along with Daniel Madelon, the CEO of A Second Chance Bail Bonds and A Second Chance Monitoring. We're so lucky to have Officer Cabral and Officer Aguirre from the Roswell Police Department and the Roswell Citizen Police Academy. I want to ask you about E911. I've heard y'all say that a couple times. I know what 911 is. What is E911? Is that something different that I don't know about?
No, it's what we call it. It's emergency 911.
Okay.
We don't want to distinguish it specifically for police because they dispatch for police, our fire department, and medical rescue, as well as national parks in and about the city of Roswell. So
Got it.
We call it E911, emergency 911. As opposed to just 911 or anything like that.
All right, yeah, because I was
It's our whole
racking my brain
communication center,
trying to figure out why in the world do they keep calling it E911. I thought it had something to do with, like, you know how phones are like voice over IP now and it's not like a hard line. I thought it was something to do with that, so I was way off base, Daniel. If you could help me here, because I feel like a dummy. There's no helping me. I know.
I don't know if I can help you there.
I love it. What are some things that we've left out that we haven't covered that it would be good for people listening in Roswell but around Roswell to know about the Citizens Police Academy?
Well, I would like people, if they're interested, it's a great program, not just to, get to know what the police department does, but the people behind the police department, the people that run it, the people who are making these encounters with the citizens day in, day out. Obviously, you don't just leave with the knowledge of the program and each unit that comes out and presents, but you also get to meet these great people who have these units and show what they do, showcase what we provide as a department. And obviously the participants leave with that, and they're able to say, man, not just he's a great presenter, but he's a person.
Yeah, he's a regular guy.
He's a regular guy.
He likes football like I like football.
Exactly.
He likes baseball like I like baseball.
We crack jokes in there and everything. And like Officer Mark says, you show up as strangers, and they all leave getting each other's numbers and creating groups. I know in the Spanish one, the Hispanic CPA, they start creating a group chat amongst each other. So they're able to communicate with me, and I just one done with them. So
that's terrific.
It's great. It just builds that camaraderie of the people in the program, but also with the officers. Yeah. And then they see us in the street, like,
hey man, how you been?
Hey, how you doing? Yeah. And it's not like we're not on our guard saying, oh, who is this person? We know the community face to face.
I love
and we
that.
can see, like, and we give them the opportunity to not shy away. Just like the teams, they don't. I tell them, hey, never hesitate to go up to an officer if you have a question. That's we're social. We have to be able to distinguish and answer any question you might have.
I love that
because it's the interaction.
That encouragement though is so valuable.
Correct.
Because probably most kids have never heard that before.
Oh.
Go up and ask questions. You should say hello. You should know the people that are working in your community, because that makes your community stronger. Much like you're talking about with the group text, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's they're just regular folks. They just happen to do different things and do that for a living. I love it.
It's the same with adults too.
Yes, sir.
We want them to come talk to us and engage with us in conversation that we may be missing. You never know, again, what's on social media or what's on mainstream media that people were afraid to ask and just assume that that's what's going on.
Yeah. What's the breakdown of guys versus girls, men versus women that go through the program? Is there a big difference, or is it pretty similar?
It's all together. It's all mixed. It's just there is no really a breakdown. There's even we even have couples that come through that have treated it as date night, and they said, "This is the best date night we've ever had." It's their Wednesday or their Tuesday.
No one can go to jail. It's a safe place for us to have our date night.
We'll get a good meal, and we won't end up in jail.
Right.
That's right.
I love it.
Or we will.
Or we will.
It's going to be really good or really bad.
So there's the one or two. One or two, male and female. And,
sure.
Yeah, it's really hard to say, like, from class to class, how many men versus women, because it's all everyone.
I would imagine women ask better questions. That's just my guess. It typically turns out that
Isn't
way.
that just
I know it is at my house, because I always ask a question, and usually I feel dumber for having asked it. And then my wife will ask a really good question. I'm like, why couldn't I have thought of that? You usually put on the spot like an idiot. That happens to me with regularity. That's why I'm pointing it out, because if you're feeling that way too, don't. It's really what happens. But I just think it's really great what y'all are doing. And so I know we started with it in the beginning, like, how do people get involved? Like, how do people learn when the dates are coming? How to get signed up. Let's go through that one more time, because I think it'll be valuable.
Yeah, a lot of it we'll push it out on social media.
What are those handles, like the social media handles? Do you have those in front of you?
No.
Of course. I'll look them up. You go through it.
I wish I did. But you can also just email us at policecru@roswellgov.com. Police, POLICE, cru@roswellgov.com,
Okay.
and that'll get to any one of us. The program is free of charge, so it doesn't cost anyone anything to come, just their time, just their commitment to the program. And the next date is February 4th,
Okay.
which starts our spring program. Then our Spanish program starts May 6th.
Okay.
And then the fall program starts again in August.
Okay. So February, May, August.
Yeah. So we do sign up for all three at any given time. Some people say, I can't make the spring, but I can make the fall, or I'd like to make the Spanish class. Can I sign up now?
Sure.
Absolutely. We'll take any applicant at any time. And we'll work around. Like, we may suggest if you've got to miss certain classes, we'll say, well, we'd like to see you come in the fall because we'd like to see you more than just half.
Sure. No, that's
So,
great.
yeah.
I found them. Facebook is just Roswell Police Department. Instagram, Roswell GA Police. And X, formerly known as Twitter, is Roswell GA Police as well. So great ways to keep up with all the things that are going on with the city of Roswell Police Department, no matter whether police academy or not. I mean, anything
definitely.
that y'all have going on with like trunk or treat, and the events, and probably volunteer opportunities too.
Correct. And also, if you don't, on social media or any of the internet or what that, just come by our lobby. Our receptionist right there. They'll give you, hey, I'm interested in Citizens Police Academy. There are forms there that they will provide for you with the contact information, and they'll hand it right to us, and then we'll reach out. So
Well, maybe hit the address there too, and you may have said it.
No. So the address is 39 Hill Street. 39 Hill Street. So again, if you just go to the receptionist in lobby A, and they'll be able to get you the form, and we'll be in contact.
I
So
love it,
we
man.
won't shy away from emails or anything as well. Just if it's in person, I'm still old school like that. I don't really do much like that. In
My
person.
wife, you and my wife are the only people in the world that I know that are not on social media, and it's the smartest decision you could possibly make because there's just so much noise on there all the time and so much nonsense on there all the time, man. Just avoid it at all costs. Just drop by Hill Street. I love it. There you go. Guys, I just appreciate what you do for the community. Are there any just memories that stand out so far of relationships that you've built, or just moments in the police academy that you can tell us about as we close out that have made this special for you?
My friends, well, you might say they're a little different. We know how to have a good time, sure, but together, what we get is beyond just that. Los Linderos is the tequila that fits, that works for those times we have. The times that take fun and friendship and go beyond. Give it a try. Los Linderos Tequila. I keep an eye out for that sculpted bottle. It's as beautiful on the outside as on the inside. Kinda like my friends. Los Linderos Tequila. When it's time to go beyond.
This is Jonathan Geller at D. Geller & Son Jewelers, where this weekend we're inviting you to our Takori holiday event, where you can shop an extended collection of engagement rings, wedding bands, and new fashion jewelry, all handcrafted in the USA. They're fully customizable, so you can try on all your options and have your dream ring handcrafted in time for a holiday proposal. You can get up to 24 months 0% APR financing, or up to $1,000 back in Amex gift cards. Only at D. Geller & Son in Atlanta, Kennesaw, and Sandy Springs. RSVP online at dgeller.com.
Probably the hiring of our last dispatcher. I think that was awesome.
Sure,
it was just
cool.
To me, that was a special moment. This young girl who's fabulous at what she does now was on graduating, and I just happened to mention it to her.
Did she go to Roswell High School? Do you remember where she went to school?
No, she was graduating college.
Oh, college. Okay,
Yeah.
got it.
So, and I think she went to Kennesaw State.
Okay. Hooty hoo. We're back to the
Yeah.
house.
So, it was great. It was
That's cool.
just to have her as part of our Citizens Police Academy now as basically a coworker, and she does help us with our outreach on a lot of stuff. So that part was fantastic.
There you go. Daniel, another great episode of Back Your Blue, man.
Yeah.
Having guys like this represent Roswell Police Department, they have to be proud.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's a great program. Citizens Academies are a plus.
There you go. We just appreciate you guys. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
being here.
We
Thank you
appreciate
for
it.
taking the time, and we appreciate you listening to Back Your Blue here on Extra 106.3. Make it a great day.
This is an Extra 106.3 podcast. To hear more live and local content like this, tune into 106.3 FM or download the Extra 106.3 app.